Hello and good morning from Hamilton's often quiet Frankton railway station. You join me under a nice sunrise as I await the arrival of Te Huia. This morning we will be riding the train up to Papakura, after which she will continue on to Auckland Strand station. Frankton Station is located at the end of Fraser Street in the aforementioned suburb. Just north of the station there is a junction where the East Coast Main Trunk leaves the North Island Main Trunk. The current station opened in 1975 and is equipped with a basic waiting room and toilets. And annoyingly for such a cold morning, the doors were locked, and usually they're only open when the Northern Explorer is in. Further along the platform is this information poster with the timetable. Currently, the Saturday service, which is what we're taking, only consists of one northbound train in the morning and one southbound train in the evening. At 7:15, 26 minutes ahead of the scheduled departure, here comes DFB 7335 propelling the empty coaches from Te Rapa Yard. The coaches are former British Rail Mk2 stock, now heavily modified and designated as the SR class, though between 2004 and 2015 they were used in Auckland and classified as SA or SD. As for the locomotive, she was built by General Motors of Canada in 1979, originally as DF 6064. In the 1990s she was upgraded with a turbocharger and redesignated as DFT 7335, with the DFB upgrade being part of a more recent overhaul. Te Huia tends to be very popular on Saturdays, hence the use of an extended 6-car consist. Ordinarily, the weekday services are made up of just 4 coaches. This is SRV 5859, a cab car with a diesel generator set on board, and today this is the coach we will be riding in. The SRV doesn't actually lead the train in passenger service, due to safety concerns involving the numerous level crossings between here and Auckland. Getting on SRV 5859 led me to discover just how packed the train was, and I struggled to find a seat. Eventually I did find a seat in the SRV, as you'll see later. For now, let's have a little coach tour. Because of how busy it was, I didn't go for a wander down the whole train. The SRV is equipped with fold-up seats that double as space for bike storage, and as you can see, there are a good few cyclists on the train today. Luggage racks are provided at one end of the coach, and presumably this is to compensate for the complete lack of overhead luggage racks. And we leave Frankton Station right on time at 7:41. It should take us 1 hour and 39 minutes to reach Papakura, with the scheduled arrival time being 9:20. Not long after leaving Frankton Station, we pass KiwiRail's Te Rapa yard, and usually there are masses of freight wagons blocking the view of some locomotives, and today was no exception. However, we will still see DFBs 7049 and 7295, the extra Te Huia coaches, and a couple of rare Hitachi TR shunters. Ten minutes after leaving Frankton, we arrive at our first stop. This is Roto Kauri, a station located next to a big shopping centre called The Base. It was built specifically for Te Huia, as historically there was never a station on this site.
There's two of them, isn't it?
Are you going shopping today?
Yeah, we used to work for
As we approach our next stop in Huntly, we pass the junction for the Roto branch, which prior to 1973 actually continued all the way to Glen Afton. On weekdays, KiwiRail still run coal trains between Roto and the Mission Bush steel mill.
Which I know we used to.
Why were you with it?
Because my mum was working and the boys were.
Huntly Station is an old one that's been here since NZR days, but of course has been substantially upgraded for Te Huia. This is our last stop before Papakura. Just north of Te Kowhata, the line goes down to single track, or rather the two tracks split and run separately for a while, owing to the swampy ground in this area. Now we're passing Whangamarino, and a few weeks ago, on June 30, I was at this very same spot to see steam locomotive WW644 on her mainline test run. As we leave Mercer behind, we get our last look at the Waikato River. This is the longest river in New Zealand, and it starts all the way down in Lake Taupo. For whatever reason, the train came to a complete stop between Mercer and Pōkeno. One of the train crew did get on the PA system to explain what happened, but as usual the audio was so quiet I couldn't understand what she was saying. In all honesty, I was quite frustrated with this hold-up, as it made us late for Papakura. And in my probably controversial opinion, this kind of poor punctuality is frankly embarrassing for a developing service like Te Huia. I originally had a 26-minute connection at Papakura before getting on the ADL diesel unit to Pukekohe. Now it'll probably only be a 6 or 5 minute connection. Now that we're on the move again, we're passing through Pōkeno. This is a fast-growing town known for its connections with ice cream and fancy bacon. As we continue towards Auckland, let's discuss ticket prices. For an adult single ticket from Frankton to Papakura, it'll cost $6 with a B card or $10 with cash for the 105km long section. Those prices are in New Zealander dollars, and I'll leave a link to Te Huia's website in the description so you can see the full fare list for yourself. At the time of uploading, all public transport in New Zealand is half price. Although even at the normal prices, I still think Te Huia presents acceptable value for money. Whilst the punctuality sometimes leaves a lot to be desired, it's still a decently relaxing alternative to going by road. Not only that, but you also get some really comfortable seats with USB charging points, adequate selection of food and drinks from the SRC cafe coach, and a locomotive that sounds great when notching up. Passing Pukekohe station, we see two of the soon-to-be-retired DMUs. These were built in 1981, originally for service in Western Australia, not arriving in Auckland until 1993. Their last day in service will be Friday the 12th of August.
That's right. That's why we bought the train instead of the car. I read about that last night.
Despite being at least 15 minutes late, we're finally arriving at Papakura. This is currently the southern terminus of electric services from Britomart, run by Auckland Transport and their AM class EMUs. While the coaches and locomotive are pretty decent, I think Te Huia's service frequency is still terrible and needs to be increased or adjusted to run at more reasonable times. This Saturday service was incredibly busy, even with an extended 6-car consist, and I think if the service was a bit more frequent, it would mean each service wouldn't be as crowded. And I think that should just about do it for this video. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts on this service. This video was actually heavily inspired by Dylan's travel reports, Simply Railway and Super L's travels. Those guys all do railway trip reports on a regular basis, and I'll leave links to their channels in the description.